What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Life and Suffering of Sir Brante, episode number 11 with me, GamerKnoob. Let's get the show on the road. The Call of the Ancestors. Today is a big day for the Brante family, the day your family line started, the day when you remember all your ancestors. Tonight, everyone who bears the name Brante must descend into the family crypt to keep vigil by the tombs. This is the time to surrender yourself to your ancestors and hear their will. The entire family prepares for the evening in silence. Stefan has been choosing his apparel since morning, praying anxiously under his breath all the while. The heir has a special place in the family vigil. Even Mother is planning to go with you, though Father tries to talk her out of it. Lydia, I beg of you, stay home. You are far too weak for an all-night vigil in the crypt. Gloria, would you be so kind as to stay with your mother, since you cannot, join us anyway? Gloria answers in a muffled voice. As you wish, Sir Robert. The late Sir Gregor would only be enraged to see Mother there. We all remember how their last encounter ended. Father nods curtly, avoiding Gloria's gaze, but at that moment your attention is drawn to a noise in the foyer. Nathan staggers to the door, stumbling over his own feet. He reeks of cheap wine and filth. I'm not, late, am I? Everyone gazes at him in consternation. Nathan almost falls into Mother's on Gloria's arms. Distressed, they fuss over him. Stefan eyes his youngest brother coldly. I expected nothing more of you, Nathan. Why even speak of duty to your family when you can't even manage to live by the commoner's lot? Go lie down in the pantry and stay out of our sight. Father, Noob, it's time. Let's go. Alongside Father and Stefan, you descend into the family crypt. You cannot help but remember paying your last respects to your grandfather 9 years ago. You light the lamps. Dim, eerie flames illuminate the shrine. In the middle of it stands a magnificent stone tomb containing the long-decayed remains of Gregor Brante. You take your places around the crypt and kneel. The all-night vigil has begun. At first your ancestors remain silent. Each of you is left with your own thoughts. Then a low murmur passes around you. The shadows in the corners of the room deepen. The voices go stronger. You know that the ancestors of Gregor Brante, long-forgotten commoners whom you never knew, are trying to talk to you. But now a memory of them has come to life in the darkness of the crypt. They are pleading for something, demanding it of you, calling out to you, screaming. Finally, you hear all that painfully familiar, deep, imperious voice echo from the far end of the chamber. It's been a long time since I've seen you all. I hope you bear good tidings all this time. I've been waiting for you to fulfill my mission. Remember, as long as I am in your blood, I will give you no peace. I did not have my family ennobled just to see our bloodline cut short. Our blood tide must join the grand flow of the Empire, and then each of my descendants will inherit nobility forever and ever. But I do not see any of you before my tomb. Where are you hiding? Where is the head of our family, the man who will speak to me? Where is the man who will heed my will? Father rises from his knees and makes his way towards grandfather's stone tomb, the source of the booming voice. But Stefan suddenly pushes him out of the way. Father takes an indignant step forward, but Stefan firmly bars the way. Stop it, Stefan. You are my heir, but you are not the head of this family. Father, it is not you that Sir Gregor is addressing. Earning the nobility of the sword is my duty to him. He has long forsaken any hope of seeing you achieve it. You must understand that I am the one who will fulfill that duty. Stefan does not let him pass. Father breathes heavily in anger. You can all but feel the frantic beating of both their hearts, resonating somewhere within you. Both your father and brother seem to have forgotten that you are here, too. Even the restless voices of your ancestors have grown hushed, waiting for the outcome of this confrontation. It's Father. Get out of here, Stefan. Get out of here. You block Stefan's way. Your ponderous voice fills the dark crypt. You demand that your brother step back. The head of your family is your father, Robert Brante, and so it will be as long as he lives. Could your brother have forgotten that it is part of the noble lot to acknowledge and honor seniority? Your father is the man who must hear and accept your ancestors' will. Stefan tries to maintain his composure, but even in the dark you can see his face twitch. Brother, you don't understand. I'm not defying father's seniority, but I am the man who bears this duty to our grandfather. I cannot remain a mere witness while the future of our blood tide runs through our fingers. You resolutely push your brother to one side. Whether he wants it or not, he will give way to the head of the family. Father catches his breath and approaches grandfather's tomb. So it's you, Robert. Will you come to disappoint me yet again? Stefan is right. I have not put my hopes in you for quite some time. If anyone will lead the Brante family to glory, it will be my grandson. Stefan clenches his fists and whispers something to himself. I am doing my utmost, Father. We are closer to becoming nobles of the sword than ever before. The overseer looks upon us with favor. Just a couple more years and your dream will come true. This must be your dream too, Robert, but you still cater to your foundlings, Lydia and Gloria, risking a permanent blemish upon the Brante name, my name. Dead though I may be, my will lives on. Heed it at last. Get rid of that trollop Gloria and devote yourself to your true family. Otherwise, you will lead our family to shame and ruin. Father hesitates for a moment. No, Father, this is impossible. Even if I must defy your will, I am responsible for Gloria. My honor and my conscience will not allow me to do what you demand. You must accept this, or keep on fighting me for all eternity. The voice of your deceased ancestor fades away. He seems to have left this realm, then his voice suddenly booms from the other side of the crypt. Stefan, you are the heir. Your duty by blood is to earn us a place in eternity. Do not take after your spineless father. Do what must be done. Cleanse our family of wickedness. Stefan is shivering. He replies in an unsteady voice. But Gloria, I can't. Stefan checks himself. I will do my duty to my family, Sir Gregor. Whatever the price, I will pay it. The crypt is completely silent once more. You are alone again. You see tears glistening on Stefan's face. Without uttering a word, he goes outside. Father clasps his arm firmly around you. You feel let out a sigh of sorrow and relief. The vigil is over. You better not be going after Gloria. I'll put you down, Stefan. I'll put you down, son. The heirs of youth. It has been a moment since Sophia left the city on Philippe's urgent orders. You have no idea where she went. Until she returns, the last straw has been laying low. You have had to tend to the print shop all by yourself. Early morning. Father Fouad welcomes you to the print shop. He looks like he was asleep just a moment ago himself. He gets up from his makeshift bed of crates and beckons you closer with a finger. Brante, I've got something to tell you, young man. So I made my rounds last night, so to speak. I stopped by a few flop houses, hit a few taverns and other dens of iniquity, and I met a young man we could use. Not sure if we can trust him, though. His name's Gustave. He told me he comes here from Eterna, says he's on the run from the secret chancellery. He insists he was with the underground there in the capital, the Lotless, they're called. They were responsible for that march of the collars 4 years back. So Gustave tells me all the Lotless were nabbed by the secret chancellery spooks after their march. He thinks the Anazot underground could be in danger, too. The trouble is, that's all he told me. He's not exactly a trusting fellow. I think one of us ought to talk to him, find out who he is and what he knows. He looks shady if you ask me, but maybe we could use him here. What do you say, young man? You thank Fouad for the information. You will think about how to meet with Gustave by yourself. Just give me the word, young man, and I'll set it up. Fouad bows, stretches, walks off to the printing press. You sigh, trying to steady the furious beating of your heart. Gustave was one of your trusted agents back in Eterna. If he gets too friendly with the Lastral and Anazot, your name will come up eventually. You do not think that Gustave ever found out that the Lotless were established on Philippe's order, but still, he knows that you were deeply involved in the march. That alone might be enough for him to dismantle your cover story here in Anazot. You need to deal with this problem as quickly as possible. Well, we're not going to order everyone to lie low, I don't think. We're gonna do lure or escape, and I think I want to do lure. Nah, let's do escape. You ask Father Fouad to arrange the meeting. You have just enough time to get ready. You come to a decrepit shack by the city wall. Your eyes gradually adjust to the darkness as you step inside. You see dirty drapes hanging over a small window. The floor is rotten and creaky. Gustave is sitting on a wooden crate. He is clutching a small meat cleaver. You greet Gustave with a nod. He grips the handle tighter in response. You show him your palms to prove you are unarmed. How is your old comrade at arms doing? You are so happy to see him. Gustave smirks grimly. Yeah, right. I know all about you and the Lotless, so don't try to play games with me. Gotta get out of the city, and you're gonna help me do it, or I'll tell him how young Sir Brante got the commoners to march back there in the capital. You got a noble family, yeah? They'd be tickled pink, wouldn't they? You ask Gustave to put the weapon down. You're here to help. The nervous man considers your words, then slowly puts the cleaver on the floor. You step closer and offer your old comrade your hand. You've already taken care of everything, you tell him. There's a carriage waiting by the western gate, ready to take him out of Anazot. You struck a bargain with the guards. They will not check him. Inside the carriage is a fresh change of clothes, a prefecture-sealed travel permit, and enough money to disappear anywhere in the Empire. Gustave is at a loss for words. You must have spent a small fortune, Brante, but I thought you was the one who ratted us out. Gustave is mistaken, you explain. You were just lucky enough to escape Eterna with your life. You're trying to lay low, but you have not forgotten your old friends and will do whatever you can to help them. Gustav sighs loudly. He slouches forward as the tension leaves his body. For a brief second, you notice tears in the corners of his eyes. He wipes them away and smiles sadly. Thank you, Brante. I see I was wrong now. I wanted to blame somebody, but I pinned it all on the wrong guy. Sorry about that. You won't have any trouble from me. I'm leaving Magra and I ain't coming back. Farewell. You never hear from Gustav again. His fate remains a mystery. However, your former associate's sudden appearance leaves a dent in the family coffers. The money you spent saving him was earmarked for emergencies. When the expenditure is over, it is discovered you're unable to offer your family a decent explanation. A long and bitter fight ensues. From now on, no one else can spend the family's funds without father's permission. The quarrel only heightens the mounting tension at home, but you do your best to steer clear of your family. We still have moderate means. Moderate means is decent. They're also a ringleader, getting closer and closer to that criminal mastermind and prepared for anything. Year 1140. Oh, 1140. My bad. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Condition met. Stash of gunpowder. Alright, let's see what happens here. Powder keg. The air is chilly. The sun has set. You make your way toward the city walls, avoiding busy streets. There, by an old grain warehouse, you have an appointment with Sophia. She wanted to speak to you face to face. Is she afraid of being overheard? She is already there, leaning on the old wall and smoking her pipe. She greets you with a nod. Glad you got here quick. Listen up. We've been in Anazat for a while now. I've seen how you handle things with the last straw. I think I can trust you. I need to ask you a favor. It's for the last straw, but Philippe can never find out about it. I need gunpowder and I need it now. I led you to this stuff, and now I want you to tell me where they're hiding it. You ask Sophia what she needs the gunpowder for. The young woman squints and looks you in the eye. To get people riled up, to start the revolt. Don't expect any delays. You know how it goes. The longer the chain, the easier it breaks. You'll find out soon enough. For now, the question is whether you trust me or not. Just give me the gunpowder and keep your trap shut. Think you can handle that? Ooh, Sophia, Sophia, Sophia. Nah, I need to know what you're gonna do with it. I don't trust you, Sophia. You already betrayed me once, girl. No, you cannot give Sophia the gunpowder without her knowing their intentions. I helped you get that gunpowder, it's not yours. Be that as it may, it is still too dangerous. You ask Sophia why you should trust her. She purses her lips, annoyed. So that's how it is. The moon's golden reflection dances in her bottomless eyes. The dizziness knocks you off your feet. Philippe will never find out about this conversation. Remember, noob, a slave only gets to live as long as he's useful. The minute you aren't useful anymore, one word from Philippe will be enough to wipe you from the face of existence. Egmont's speech. Just a few days into the year, Mayor Egmont, chairman of the Lesser Quorum and owner of several silver mines, made a speech that caused quite a stir in the province. Though a commoner, Egmont had the gall to demand that the Magran authorities both enforce and obey imperial law. What's the use of the imperial laws if they aren't enforced as they should be? Even today, any Anazat nobleman who gets up on the wrong side of the bed can draw his sword and run a commoner through with impunity. These gentlemen may be our rulers, but does that mean they can defy the Emperor's will? Sir Elborn has been appointed to enforce the rule of law in Magra. How come the prefect doesn't see it this way? We commoners aren't trying to seize the noble lot and take over the province, but the rule of tradition is a thing of the past. This is an age of justice. We may not all be equal in his eyes, but even the nobles and clergy must obey the law. The Magran aristocracy is furious with Egmont and demand that he be silenced, but the rich industrialist has too much money and too many connections to be dealt with so easily. You hear more and more rumors about secret societies of commoners appearing in the city, plotting against the noble rule. The gentry fears that Egmont and his peers might be behind this, but they have no proof, at least for now. Father Leonard, abbot of the Temple of the Silver Tree and leader of the New Believers, supports Egmont and has spoken publicly in his favor. The twins themselves entrusted the noble estate with the right to rule over the common folk, but rulers must also care for their subjects. The old faith is mistaken. No commoner should ever be forced to suffer. It is for this very reason that the imperial law exists. It is there to ease the people's suffering. May these laws be duly enforced, and may they serve all the people of the empire. Nice little changes going around there. A chat with the magistrate. Your heart is pounding madly in your chest. You gasp desperately for air, paralyzed by fear. Two young burly men have just pulled a sack over your head and shoved you into a carriage. Who could have done this? Are they Philippe's men, members of the Last Straw, someone else with a grudge against you? Where are they taking you? Can you even hope to survive this day? The carriage comes to a stop. They drag you out, get you on your feet, and force you to walk. You march down long hallways in complete silence. Then at last, they sit you in a chair. Get the thing off his head. I can't talk to him like that, can I? A hand pinches the sack off your head. Light stabs you in the eyes as you gasp for air. Once your eyes adjust, you see a dining table covered in years of dust. This is a noble mansion abandoned long ago. The paint is peeling and the glazed gilt trim is cracked and faded. The once magnificent furniture is covered in rust and cobwebs. In the midst of this weathered splendor, you see a man who is known to all, the magistrate of Anazat, Sir Remy L. Vermont. I suppose you've caught your breath by now, eh, Brante? Let's have a little chat, shall we? First, the obvious. I know what you are and I know who you work for. I know your family. I have the power to ruin you and your father and everyone else you care about. If anyone ever hears this conversation, I will crush you before you can blink. But I didn't arrange this meeting just to threaten you. I'm prepared to offer you something. Salvation. A glib smile spreads across Elvermont's face. Now let's move the meat of our little tete-a-tete. You're in a real pickle, Brante. You will never escape Philippe's iron grip. He will continue to use you as long as you remain useful, and the moment that usefulness ends, he will deem you an obstacle and eliminate you. However, I would like to extend to you an offer of protection. If you help me, I will keep you safe from Philippe and the secret chancellery. I am aware of Philippe's scheme to obtain special authority from the overseer. The old dog is hungry for power, but I have enough on my plate as it is, what with Elborn's prefecture and Egmont's lesser forum. The secret chancellery is supposed to safeguard imperial rule, but instead Philippe is playing a game of his own in my city. Anazat does not need another man who treats it like a plaything for acting out his own utopian fantasies. This is a disaster waiting to happen. If the secret chancellery ever gets discretionary powers, no one will ever be able to stand in its way, especially commoners like you. So here's the deal, Brante. You help me rid Anazat of the Lesser Quorum and all the other rebels and rebel-rousers, and I'll save you from Philippe. I already know that Mayor Egmont and his cronies are connected to your secret network, and knowing that the secret chancellery, I'm quite certain you made a note of Egmont's every last misdeed. Once you have enough evidence to put good old Mayor behind bars, or in a noose, bring me everything you've got on him and the other upstarts. Philippe will be left empty-handed. With Egmont out of the picture, I'll be free to disband the Lesser Quorum and rule the city in peace, and then I'll finally drive Philippe out of Anazat. Which means that you'll be free to go. I will rule as I should, and the city of Anazat will return to normal. No blood will be shed, and there will be no more plotting, no more needing to pretend. What do you say, Brante? Evade! Evade! I didn't want to agree, but I'll evade. Trying to undermine Philippe and the secret chancellery would be suicide. Besides, how do you know the magistrate will not get rid of you just the same once the job is done? Yet the magistrate wields great power. To refuse him would make him into yet another fearsome enemy. You rise to your feet and thank Sir L. Vermont for his confidence. You're ready to cooperate, you say, but Philippe trusts no one. You are watched at all times. It'll take a long time for the magistrate to get the results he wants. The magistrate nods, satisfied with your answer. A wise choice, Brante. My men will see you out, and don't forget this first part of our little chat. We never met. This never happened. You continue sending the usual reports to Philippe, and from time to time, you send Elvermont a vague letter. If the magistrate wants to believe you have agreed to his deal, you see no reason to disappoint him. Your web of lies is growing larger and more convoluted by the day, but perhaps this new connection will come in handy. Perhaps it will. I'll take it nonetheless. I couldn't agree with him because I'm like, Philippe's gonna kill me, he's gonna kill me. I couldn't disagree with him because he's gonna kill me. So I had to go with the third option. Brothers in misery. Your home has been much more peaceful for the last year. The fights between Stefan and Curia are not as fierce now, but how long will this last? Your job takes up all your time. You see your parents and siblings less and less often. Sometimes you don't even know what they're doing while you deal with the constant stream of duties. This morning you head out on urgent business. You take one step out of the gate and run into a uniformed gendarme. New Brante, your presence is requested at the prefecture dungeon. Taken aback, you ask what this is about. We have your brother Stefan and Nathan Brante in a cell. They were arrested last night at the Steiner's Inn. They asked us to send for you. The cell is the prefecture dungeon, cold and damp. The guards lead you to the bar. Behind him you see Nathan, huddled in a corner. Your younger brother is unshaven, more disheveled than usual, and reeking of wine and filth. Near the cell you see Stefan grimly sitting in a chair. You guess that the gendarmes thought it best not to put him in the same cell as his low-born brother. Upon seeing you, Nathan lets out a whimper and Stefan cracks a bitter smile. The sheath on your brother's belt is empty. There you are at last, noob. Have you a look at our younger brother? Yesterday he got drunk in the company of some dubious fellows. They are commoners, yet they dared to surrender to pleasure. They started a brawl, wrecked the inn, and harassed the waitress. As soon as I heard, I rushed to save this drunkard from shame. Nathan cowers into the corner, horror-struck. I walked in and demanded that Nathan come with me, but his cronies wouldn't let him go. That's not true. You just grabbed me by the collar and dragged me after you. You nearly suffocated me. Shut your mouth, cur. So, brother, they seem to have some sort of sect. They all shouted defamations against the twin gods, and one of them grabbed me by the arm. I was forced to skewer this heretic with my sword. I hope a lesser death will teach him never to lay his filthy paws on a nobleman. I was just trying to talk to you, Stefan. Silence. Then these gendarmes barged in, and here we are. I've been accused of an unlawful murder. Apparently the new laws allow killing a commoner only if he attacks first or wields a weapon. They say that in the event of an insult, I'm supposed to file a complaint with the prefecture. So now they're going to seize my sword for a whole year. What a shame, and it's all your fault. Stefan gives the bars a furious kick. Nathan covers his face with his hands in despair. No, brother, you are our only hope. Get me my sword back and get us out of here. And fast. We have to bury this sword at a fair as steep as we can before anyone finds out. Save our family from shame. Well, we don't have any authority to use because we didn't take the career option. We're not an inquisitor. Your spy network is too far down. We can ask our father, which would give us ups but downs with daddy, which would suck. I can't. I gotta go with I gotta ask Dad, yeah. I'm not gonna just leave him in there. You tell Stefan that the only way to get out of this mess is with Father's help. No, noob. Father must not know about this. If he gets involved, we won't be able to avoid dishonoring the family. You coldly reply that after this incident, disgrace is inevitable. All that remains is you try to minimize the damage. Leaving your brothers, you go upstairs to your father's office. What happened, noob? You give Father an account of the incident. He becomes more and more grim with every word you utter. Is this why I earned the judge's mantle to get my own sons out of prison? I would have expected something like this from Nathan, but Stefan, I will not demean myself so they can avoid their punishment. You argue that in this case the damage to your family's reputation will be far greater. Stefan will be publicly deprived of his sword, and Nathan will be sentenced to hard labor on the streets. I hate to admit it, but you're right, son. I'll have to swallow my pride and plead their case to the prefect. Stefan is his nephew, after all. Father gets an audience with the superior Elborn. He returns downhearted, but holding the prefect's order. Together you walk down to the dungeon and present the order to the gendarmes. Stefan Brante's sword is to be returned at once. He has not broken the law and must be freed. As for Nathan Brante, you will personally cover the damages the inn has sustained. This is no reason to keep a son of a noble family behind bars. Seeing the prefect's seal, the gendarme nods obediently and returns Stefan's sword. Father, I knew you'd come to the rescue. I haven't really done anything shameful. We will discuss this at home. Stefan sheathes the sword reverently as Nathan is led out of the cell. The older brother takes the younger by the scruff of his neck and pulls him to the door. Nathan staggers and shuffles along limply. The prefecture is highly displeased with the indiscreet nepotism your father took advantage of. Unsavory rumors about the Brante family creep to Anasat. Back home, Father lectures to Stefan. Your other brother objects and blames Nathan for everything. From now on, there will be no more drinking bouts or other nocturnal exploits, Nathan. Who are those rogues you befriended anyway? Stop shaming this family. If you're so worthless, at least let others go about their business in peace. Do you understand, you blockhead? Nathan remains silent, staring despondently somewhere above him. Why you mad at me, Dad? I didn't do nothing. Dad, it was them. Freedom of speech. Your print shop has been graced by an unusual guest today, a short man of considerable age dressed in the brown cassock of a priest. A smile appears across his round face. Good morning, young man. You must be the owner of this splendid print shop. I've heard so much about you and this wonderful place of yours. You ask the visitor his name. What brings him to your print shop? Ah yes, my apologies. I am Mark. Father Mark, if you will. There is a certain matter I hope you can help me with. I have learned much during my many years in this world, but alas, our time here is short, and like everyone else, I will eventually have to face the ruthless scrutiny of the twins themselves. However, I would like the truths that have been revealed to me to live on after I shuffle off this mortal coil, which is why I have come to you. I've written a book, you see, and I now want you to help me print it. I want the largest print run you can possibly manage. The old priest is clearly not giving you the full picture. Why has he come here of all places? You see, my young man, my teachings are a bit bold for a realm that has endured 1,000 years of the twins' tyranny. Even the new face sees the truths I preach as excessively blasphemous, but your print shop is known for its, shall we say, open-minded approach. I believe you have the fortitude to appreciate my teachings and the courage to accept my order. But Father might be so kind as to explain his teachings to you. Another smile, kind-hearted and sly, appears readily on the monk's face. But of course, my son, by the will of the twins, it is my lot to preach. How could I refuse to instruct those in need? Here is the fundamental principle of my doctrine. Our gods are shit. We don't need them. They say a tree is known by its fruits. Well, if the twins are a tree, then their fruits are will, love, and law. But their will is arbitrary, their love is cruel, and their law is ruthless. The twins don't know the meaning of the word mercy. All they bring to this world is suffering. Everyone in this world is miserable, regardless of their estate or status, and we will continue to be miserable as long as we continue to accept the burden of their divine chains. There's only one path to salvation in this world. Reject the twins outright. You, and only you, must accept responsibility for your own life. Forge your own secular law. Fill your heart with secular love. Exercise your own secular will, and forget all about the twins. But what about the hereafter, you say? What about the final judgment, eternal torment at the foot of the pillar, and never-ending bliss at the peak? Everyone asks me this, and here's what I tell them. What happens to you in the hereafter doesn't matter, because there won't be any you in the hereafter anyway. We will all be dissolved into the twins' own endless will. Out there on the other side of true death, Father Mark will cease to exist, and so will you, young man. You will have no will, you will have no decisions, you will be incapable of action. In other words, your life will be over. Your existence ends with your true death. Whatever happens to you after that won't really be happening to you, so who cares? Let's all tell the twins to take their bullshit law, their bullshit will, and their bullshit love and shove it straight up their divine asses. Let's cast away the yoke of the gods and live our worldly lives of their despotic, ruthless rule. Huh. I don't think I want to report it to Philippe. I don't like Philippe that much. What? I don't think I'm disseminating. I don't think I'm gonna get on his good side and then denounce him. I think that's a little silly. I'm considering this one though. I kind of like this one, but I don't think I want to. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm gonna tell my father about the encounter. Try to help my family out a little bit here. To reject the twins is to deny their law, their will, and their love. To reject the twins is to deny that their empire is blessed and absolute. To reject the twins is to deny that the Tempests are chosen by the gods themselves to rule. If these teachings begin to spread, there will be unrest the likes of which the province has not seen since the emergence of the new faith. His book is fomenting rebellion against the Tempests, the Empire, and the twins. You accept Brother Mark's manuscript and promise to print the run as soon as possible. As soon as the priest leaves the print shop, you head to the prefecture to see Father. You describe the strange visit and hand Mark's manuscript over to him. He ought to handle this case himself, you say. The heretic must be arrested before it is too late. It's extremely troubling, son. Matters such as these are really the Inquisition's domain, but we judges have some work to do here. The priest is inciting rebellion against the Empire. He must face judgment under imperial law. I'm glad you came with me with this. You did the right thing. This will be an excellent opportunity for Elborn and me to set our opponents at ease. No one at the prefecture will be able to say we don't protect imperial tradition now. Trial. When the heretical priest is arrested, the city grows restless, but there is no rioting, no protests. Many people leave the province in a hurry, including nobles and commoners, and even a few priests. Some of your own men flee Magra without saying a word. You have to rack your brains to find replacements. You have seen for yourself just how many apostates reside in Anazant. We don't have a very good spy network at the moment, but we're trying to work with our family a little bit at the very least. We need a lot more work though. A lot more work. Well, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. We'll check out that one next time. If you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to give it a like. If you've got anything to say, go to the comments below. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscription button on the bell. It helps me out a ton. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.